All right, this is Jeff Zimmerman with FightNews.com. I'm with Shuretta, aka Shay, aka Chiccn Metcalf, former #1 U.S. super bantamweight in the world, 10-3-1. How you doing, Shay?
I'm doing great. Yourself, Jeff?
I'm doing well, thanks. So listen, you're coming off a big win just a week ago in your hometown of Dallas. Are you still riding that high?
I really am. I came into class today at Thai boxing, and oh my God, and the class was just ecstatic. Everyone is still walking up on me like, "Hey, you did fight. You look so much better. You look good," and it's still overwhelming right now.
Yeah, talk about it, because I've heard, I wasn't able to make the fight, but I've heard that you've really improved. What do you owe that to?
I owe that to my coaches. I have Miss Christine at Texas Select. You know, she's with Team USA also as well. And I'll be training with Ozell Nelson in Little Rock. So they're switching up my style. As you see, I have more head movement in there. I was staying more in pocket more. So that's what we've been working on a lot. And I'm happy that those skills is like coming to show. And I'm getting very comfortable with it.
That's great. That's great. And before we get into kind of what you have next, coming up, hopefully, let's talk about you a little bit. And how did you get into this crazy business of boxing?
I started from underground boxing. And so I would just naturally fight, and I was beating everybody up. And so I decided to try to do it for real. So I went amateur. I went to the nationals. I ended up getting placed number 5 in the country in my weight class. And then I just wanted to just turn pro because, in the amateurs, they don't really pay you any money. So I like to get paid to fight.
Sure. Now, for those that don't know, describe when you say underground fighting, what does that mean?
I was fighting in the clubs. They had a little fight where girls could come out and spar, and they would throw money in the ring for tips and stuff like that. And I was just doing it, and it was fun. And I was making some money.
How old were you?
I think I was in my late 20s. I want to say like 27, 28, around that age.
And that's when you started getting into boxing?
Yes, I started actually falling in love with it. I was just like, hey, this is really fun, and I really love this. I just grew a passion for it.
So when you were growing up, talk about growing up. So you weren't a fight fan. You didn't follow boxing. What was your life growing up?
I did follow boxing a little bit. I would watch Lennox Lewis them fight Mike Tyson when they was all fighting. Everybody got pay-per-view then when they were fighting, so I would watch those fights. I did karate when I was in middle school a little bit. I did karate a little bit, so I did some type of fighting, and then I just I got older and I got it back into it again.
And you grew up in Dallas?
Yep, I grew up in Dallas and Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff, very popular place. A lot of good boxing comes out of Oak Cliff.
Yes, yeah. Curtis Coates is one of the former world champions. I think Donna Carey's from Oak Cliff. I want to say Quincy Taylor, Maurice Hooker. Most of our world champions are from Oak Cliff.
Derek James.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's so crazy. I didn't even know he was from Oak Cliff. I thought he was from East Dallas. That was crazy. I didn't know he was from Oak Cliff.
Yeah, you had all the stars come out to your fight last weekend, all the local champs from Hatley to Maurice, Errol, Spence, Derek James was there, Donald Curry, who's actually from Fort Worth, and then representatives from Curtis Coates' family. What was that like, having everybody out there?
Actually, when everybody was telling me and I just happened to look at a lot of the videos and they were actually watching me, it was it was lit. I don't know what else to say. It was so lit. It was so fun. Quincy Taylor walked up on me because, sometimes I go over there and work out with Quincy Taylor sometimes. How can you not work out with with the former world champion here. Like you gotta get graced by them. So I work out with him. He told me I looked it real good. It was liking how I was popping that jab because we've been working on those jabs.
That's fantastic. And you're self-promoted and self-managed from what I've read. Why is that?
Well, you know how it is for women in boxing. They don't. A lot of us aren't signed, especially the big promoter. They're not signing us. And as a female fighter, it's not that many of us. So at this time, I feel like I didn't really just need a manager as much because I'm a big ticket seller. So so I was getting fights. So it wasn't just that hard. So the little money that we are getting, you have to pay it out to a manager, and it's just like, what are you fighting for if you're not even making any money? You're just pretty much making other money for other people. So I just pretty much kept it at that. I do whatever I can as far as promotion. I'm big on social media. I'm a very personable person, so my personality itself is just salespeople when they meet me. So that's how I pretty much been promoting myself.
And I've covered some of your fights in the past, and just talking to you today, I mean, you're jumping out of the screen. So you definitely have that personality, Shay, no doubt. So obviously you're looking for bigger and better things, and women's boxing is probably as big as it's ever been right now. With what's going on, and it might be the Jake Paul effect, but what are your thoughts on how things are going on with the women's side of it?
I love that we are getting more exposure. I wish they would give more women more opportunity as far as like just women of all races. You know, at Matchroom, they pretty much pick their girls who they, who they really want and stuff like that. But I want them to get like all of us opportunities. Like a lot of us are wanting to fight those Matchroom girls, and they're not letting us.
And speaking of Matchroom girls, I think Jamie Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken, is with Matchroom.
I don't think she's signed with them. I just feel that right now, because they haven't really said that they signed her. I just know that she has the belt that she took from their girl. So she pretty much has to keep fighting a Matchroom girl or fight the girl that she took the belt from. I think she's supposed to be giving her a rematch because it was a rematch clause. So I think that's what it is as far as right now. I could be mistaken, but I haven't seen them saying that they actually signed her.
So Jamie Mitchell is someone who's a current world champion, bantamweight world champion, and you got a draw against her.
Yes. I think you was at.
What's that?
I think you was at that fight too.
I think so. I think so as well. It's been a while, but how much better are you today than you were when you fought her back then?
A lot. I can't even imagine the limit I am. I'm way better fighter than I was then. I can just tell by the way I'm just throwing the punches and how I train, like it period. So I know I'm a better fighter now. That'll give her a way more harder time.
And how badly would you like to fight her again with a title at stake?
Very badly, soon. Hopefully towards the end of this year, because I know that she has other obligations to fight the girls that she was supposed to fight. So I'm just sitting here. I'm just keep training and do my path and keep fighting. But I'm going to keep calling her out so they'll know that vocally I want this fight, and it's a fight that should happen.
Yeah, and you mentioned DAZN, Matchroom Boxing, obviously led by Eddie Hearn. If you had a message to Eddie to make that fight, what would you tell him?
My Instagram stories, he watched. He didn't say anything, but he watched it. He said he seen it. So that's what I can say. And people have been tagging him on social media. So hopefully he can be able to see this fight. I want this fight. I want that fight with Ebanie Bridges. I would love that fight. That'll be a big fight. All the girls over there.
Are you willing to go overseas to make one of those fights?
Definitely. I have a passport and I'm fully vaccinated. There should be no excuses.
So Eddie Hearn's keeping an eye on you. That's a good thing.
Yes.
So, I mentioned Jake Paul earlier. Is now knee deep in the boxing business and has done a lot, in a short time, not only in the ring but also outside of the ring, and took Amanda Serrano under his wings. What are your thoughts about Jake and what he's doing, and then the big fight coming up with Serrano and Taylor?
I'm very excited that he's doing this for women's boxing, and he's doing it for a woman who truly deserves to be a millionaire. Like, I'm happy that she's a millionaire. More women need to be millionaires. Like, she done did stuff that a lot of men haven't even did. She's a seven division world champion. I mean, she is pretty much knocking you out. She got a very high knockout rate. Why isn't she paid? And I'm glad that she's finally getting the the views that she's supposed to get, the money that she's supposed to get. And I'm actually flying out to that fight. If I don't have a fight around the exact same date, I'm going to be in the building for that fight. I'm flying in. We got to support that.
New York.
Yes.
So let's just say, that, things with Eddie, don't transpire. Would you like to work with someone like Jake Paul?
I surely would. He's helping women's boxing. I feel like I already got like a social media fan base, so it wouldn't be hard for him to promote me. So I love it.
And there's a woman, two-time Olympic gold medalist, multi-weight world champion, Claressa Shields. What are your thoughts on Claressa and what she's done so far?
I love what she's done. I've actually talked to her like on other social media apps, and she just actually give us good advice about being a woman boxer and what type of things that we need to try to fight for and what we need to do. Like, if we want to fight for any type of rights, we need to first fight for 3 minutes, fight for 12 rounds, as far as that, so where we can be able to demand more money, and then we can be able to push forward whatever we want to do as a women as a whole, in order to come with boxing for us to get equally paid. So I love the way she's doing it. I love that she's kicking ass and everything.
Yeah, and you mentioned about being paid. You mentioned also that you're I think in your gym right now. Unlike a lot of fighters who rely on that payday, you're an entrepreneur and you got some businesses outside of boxing. What do you have going on, Shay? Yes,
I have a studio and a boutique and a salon. So it's called the Headquarters Deluxe Studios. It's right here it's in Oak Cliff, across from Redbird Mall, in a good high traffic area. It's booming. They're redeveloping it. So I'm happy that I have a boutique in a place where I know that, that's where I grew up at. It's where I used to work when I was a teenager, cash my checks, and we would go over to this mall and always go shopping. So I have a boutique over there. I do personal training. Right now I'm at Title. I do the classes, the boxing classes. Like, I pretty much stay around boxing or work out some type of way because I just love it. I love to teach it. And then I also just do taxes as well during tax season. So it's a lot of different businesses I have going on.
Good for you. Good for you. And this is Jeff Zimmerman with FightNews.com, and we'll wrap it up here in a minute. So, we mentioned some of the fighters locally on the men's side: Errol Spence, Maurice Hooker. How badly, like most, would you like to see Errol get in the ring with Terence Crawford?
Man, I want that to be the next fight. I want that to be the next fight. That is the fight that I am dying to see, and I am ready to spend my money to see it. That's what I want to see. I got that fight going 50-50 because they both have something to offer. And that's me speaking as a boxer, not as a person from Dallas or a bias. Like, that fight to me is 50-50. They both have something to bring to the table. And it's going to be power there. It's going to be exciting. It's like, it's everything in one.
And what about Shuretta Metcalf fighting Jamie Mitchell as the co-main at AT&T Stadium on a fight like that?
You had better believe that I am going to show out. It's going to be unanimous decision. It's going to be unanimous decision. If the knockout comes, then it'll come. I don't have a big knockout ratio. I do have power, but I just know I'm a great boxer, and I can outbox you, and I'm gonna hit you 1,000 times.
How great would it be to fight in Cowboy Stadium?
That would be like an honor of mine. That'll be like surpass so many dreams that I want. That'll be great. And to be on, if I was on that undercard, my head would be way up here, but you know, past my whole body.
Right. And before we let you go, Shay, talk about your nickname, Chiccn. Where did that come from?
It came from when I ran track in cross country. It was called Chicken Sticks. So I just took the sticks off, and we just say Chiccn.
All right. Well, again, I'm here with Shay, Shuretta, Chiccn Metcalf. She's a rising star out of Dallas. She's looking for a title fight. She's on the verge. Came off a big win in her hometown last week in Dallas. What do you want to say to the fans out there, sponsors, anybody out there, how to follow you?
Yes. Well, I have a couple of sponsors. I want to give a shout out to the Real Brady LLC with solar panels and security and surveillance systems. They work great. I have it in my home. You guys should try it out. Then I have the Blueprint. They're a chiropractic center. That's what helped me to get to do my adjustments, my cupping, my acupuncture. Those ladies are great. There's some twin doctors. They have a great degree. There's somebody you should try out too. And United Homes, they clean your ducts and your chimneys and your dryers.
Got it all covered. And how can someone follow you, Shay?
You can follow me on Instagram on the Real Slim Goody on and you can follow me on Twitter as the Slim Goody, and on Facebook is Shay Metcalf, SHA Metcalf.
All right, we'll keep an eye on Shay Metcalf. She's looking for a title fight. Big star out of Dallas, looking to raise that stardom on the world stage. I appreciate the time. I wish you nothing but success, and I look forward to your next fight here in Dallas.
Thank you, Jeff. This has been a pleasure. I'm really happy that you're interviewing me.
Thank you, Shay.